Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Cookiecast. Today on Cookiecast, we've got an episode of James Plays. Today, JK is joined by podcast alum Sam Muscroft to discuss a series of games that are coming out in the near future and to talk about some aspects of the games market the way it is at the moment. So here we go. Check this out. This is James Plays. So anyway, when I sit down to do the coding, do I go, really must double check why I've still got that
Is the microphone set up properly?
date and time stamp. Yeah.
Don't make the microphone properly.
Have
Have you ever done it again, or have you only ever done it once?
No, never did that one again. Until last night, when somebody, it's not a blame culture, somebody went, oh look what's behind the laptop, I'll just close the lid. So we only lost 20 minutes of audio. Well,
Who are we actually blaming?
He did say it was the boring parts, though.
It's just the shout outs. They're not boring, they're the crucial bits. So, here we go. I'm here on Cookiecast to talk to you people about drugs.
Is it Drugcast?
Do you have any drugs?
Don't buy drugs. Become a rock star.
I was going to steal them
You
all
get them
for free.
So we're here today.
Grow your own. Don't grow your own.
Don't grow your own, that's horribly illegal. We're here today. It's James Plays.
Yay!
Subtitle
EA rant.
James Rants. About the. I'm here. James is here, and a special guest. This is Samuel Muscroft returning to the man cave.
It's been a while since
It
I've
has
been
been
on.
a while. Do you know the last time you were in the man cave? It was before Christmas.
Right. I don't like the phrase "the last time you were in the man cave."
I said it purposely so that you would.
To make you feel uncomfortable.
This morning. So, gentlemen, what brings us here on this fine occasion?
Well, we all know that the 15th is looming.
15th is looming.
15th is looming, so it was basically to have a little chat about what have we decided to buy or not buy, or boycott, perhaps. Have you still got the list?
Sam, if you pass James that leaflet on top of the Asda receipt. That's the one. The yet to be won.
Yeah, that nobody still nobody wants a signed copy of this awesome game list from Game. Anyway,
I entered the competition myself.
did you?
I might do.
So yeah, 15th. What do we got in the end then? So we got Crackdown 3.
No. Is it actually coming out?
Yeah, it is.
They've been threatening for it to come out for a very long time.
Still on target, and that is going to be on Game Pass for the Xbox as well.
Is that on the PC as well?
It is. Let me see. 1 second. I'll be able to tell you. Crackdown 3 is only on the Xbox.
All right.
Exclusive to the Xbox.
Most of the time, a lot of the time, they do come out on the PC as well.
Yeah, that's true. Metro Exodus is coming out.
Yeah,
we'll get to that. Dead or Alive 6 is also coming out. Anthem is not coming out till the 22nd
The week after.
now. Yeah. See, there was some confusion as to whether Metro would be coming out on the 22nd.
you can
as well.
play Anthem a week early if you buy one of the various pre-order bundles.
Yeah, I saw that. You can get a few days advanced play.
I feel like I'm jumping in with the EA bashing early, but I might as well start while with the pre-order thing.
So while the hand's hot.
There are about... I mean, Ubisoft are awful for this as well, but there are about 7 or 8 different pre-order versions, some of which gain you early access to the game, some of which don't, some of which you'll get like a statue or some other bullshit.
I went on to Amazon the other day, and the listing for Anthem has changed, and you have the main. This is what the game is. This is what the game does. This is how much it costs. If you drop below that, there's like a pricing scale.
Well, Ubisoft have been doing this for years. They say like the Assassin's Creed games always come with about 7 different versions.
Yeah, because where you've got like a deluxe version and a gold version and an Odyssey version and a Origin version, and then you've got like the super duper.
I mean,
you've got figures version.
Is it fair to say that they can just go fuck themselves?
EA.
All of them.
Well,
They're all the same. EA, no, that's not fair. EA's the worst.
EA is
I
the
think
worst.
it also depends on the game type. Like, as we've discovered, Ubisoft do Far Cry. And Far Cry is one of the games that's released on the 15th. And as we know, Far Cry 5 was utter bollocks. And the new Far Cry 5 is probably likely to be the same.
Yeah.
Other than it's got a price drop, which tells me it's probably not going to be
It
very
probably
good.
needs doing what they did with Assassin's Creed, where they
Yeah,
leave
exactly.
it for a
They
year.
need to-
Where I
Give it
was
a
about to say,
fucking rest.
Assassin's Creed, although Odyssey came out a year after Origins, you actually turned around and said in the end that Odyssey was a good game.
Odyssey could very well have been my game last year.
See, so that branch.
But
of
is that
Ubisoft
just a because last year was so awful for
Yeah,
games?
and we
Last year
covered
was
this. I mean,
dreadful.
I did podcasts with both of you separately where we did a roundup of 2018, and you and I did just a general games cast where we did like a review of stuff and a preview of stuff. And the underlying thing, the thing that shone from 2018 was a horrific.
It was pretty
year
rubbish.
for
Dreadful.
games.
There wasn't much out.
2019 is unlikely to be worse.
There's some good
it's
stuff
shaping
coming
up to
out.
be a good
There's-
year for
yeah,
games.
there's some cool stuff.
It could
coming out.
be.
But it's also sounding very much like this could well be the last year of this generation.
They're talking about 2020, though. I still reckon end of 2019 is where we might start seeing new hardware.
They're going to week it out just before the end of the year, I reckon.
Because then it'll have been 6 years, and these consoles they're looking very long in the tooth now. They were they weren't great hardware when they were released, and now they're starting to look really, yeah.
Yeah, this generation has been the worst advancement. You know, if you
Well,
think,
there basically wasn't one. It wasn't much of one, really.
yeah, it was just your machines are ever so slightly better, and your games look ever so slightly nicer. That's about it.
I would say that the generations prior to it all had like very massive advancements. Like the Xbox 360 compared to the PS2 was enormous,
Yeah, it was
certainly.
off the chart.
But it wasn't just in terms of graphics. Obviously, we've got HD graphics. I can remember seeing the original Gears of War on a flat screen telly for the first time, and it was like seeing a game from space.
Yeah, it was very, very.
It was
good.
amazing.
Yeah, it was very. Good.
But we also had like all the online stuff. We got things like downloadable games, and the indie scene pretty much sprang up from
The
that
indie
whole
scene,
thing.
yeah, the indie scene's really.
Those were
huge,
massive
those.
deals.
Yeah, they knocked it out of the park with the indie stuff this generation, certainly. Because they were given the room to do what they wanted. You know, they have the technology to be able to start releasing stuff. As far as indie's concerned, you know, I've had conversations again with both of you about how I've never really touched the indie market, but I am now. You know, I have been playing and I've been looking.
I almost play almost exclusively. I'm not sure we call them indie. You're just like not AAA games, I would say, because you've got stuff like Divinity: Original Sin and stuff like. It's hard to call it an indie. It's got a proper studio behind it.
Yeah, that's true.
They've obviously made a proper game, but it doesn't have a bit of it doesn't have EA evil talons in it.
So jumping back to the EA thing,
Let's
one
just
of the things that we were talking about today, and one of the things that when I spoke to you earlier today, and we were sort of arranging to get this podcast going, I was like, it'd be great to get Sam on because one of Sam's least favourite companies in all of everything is EA. This was off the back of me saying to James, so EA have announced that they posted a loss last year.
They'll posted less profits. There's a very big difference between posting a loss and posting less profits.
They are hoping that Anthem and
Apex
Legends is going to save them.
You know what? I saw Apex Legends and thought, okay, a battle royale game, whatever. But it's actually been getting a lot of very
Yeah,
positive
really.
It's
press.
got. I said to you, it's got good reviews. If you look on the Xbox,
It's made by Respawn, isn't it?
yeah,
Maybe
it's-
Titanfall 2, a
it's
criminally
got-
underrated game.
It's got
I'm playing it as we speak.
When I looked at it a day ago, it was 4.1 out of 5 from the reviews from players. The biggest amounts of 1 star seem to be on the fact that the game was free, but there was so much downloadable content where you could spend up
something
to
like
80 quid.
80 to 100 quid's worth.
Is the game free though?
The game itself is free, yes.
I've got. If it's a free-to-play game, I expect to be absolutely ramroded with microtransactions. It's got to make a profit, and I understand that's to say. I've got less problem with microtransactions and all that sort of stuff in general. It's when they want you to pay 60 quid and then a load of shit on top that it drives me up.
Well, that was Battlefront.
Yeah, and no doubt, and we already know that's what Anthem is going to be like, because we've already seen some of the bullshit microtransactions.
Well, staying with the EA thing and moving slightly across to Anthem, one of the things on my list of stuff was to talk about Anthem. So I played the alpha, and the last weekend just gone, I played the demo. Now, something, and unfortunately, you're never going to get away from the fact that people are going to go, here's Destiny and here's Anthem.
It looks a hell of a lot like Destiny. There's no getting around that.
I played the alpha, the beta, and everything of Destiny before it came out, and then I got the game and was like, I've done this. Because the one thing that Destiny did wrong was when they gave you the alpha and the beta and stuff like that, they essentially gave you the game. So I was playing it, I was like, started at level 0, I was like level 10. You think about like these sort of games.
I believe you cap out at 20 in Destiny.
So I'd played a massive chunk of that game before I got the game. So when I got the game, it was a little bit like, I've played this, and then I've played it again already. What Anthem have done is Anthem has gone on the alpha. They went, here's the first couple of levels, and now you've got free play, and free play is empty.
Also, they did a really cunning move by making sure that no one could join a game as well, so you couldn't actually.
You couldn't play it.
Yeah, so you wouldn't see too much of it.
That was something they addressed earlier. The second, for the demo weekend, they went, right, you're level 10, you can go up to level 15, here's a couple of missions, and here's like some kind of raid thing, I can't remember what they call it, Fortress or something, which is like your big mission that you do with other people. So I played it, and the only thing that I could think of playing the alpha and playing the demo was, I want more. So I'm already like, so I spoke to a lad at work and I said, here's the problem. Everybody's going, oh, it's fucking EA. Yes, it is. I've got no illusions around that. Oh, it's fucking BioWare. They haven't made a good game since Mass Effect, whichever. Pick a number. Yes, it is.
This is also true.
Yes, it is. However,
Knights of the Old Republic.
Does Anthem give me the opportunity to play a game where you fly around in a big metal suit with loads of weapons? Yes. Is it fun to play? Now, this is something that I spoke to you about.
This is one of the first. One of the first ones we did was, is it fun to play?
In games these days, is Anthem fun to play? Yeah, it's incredible fun. I can't wait for this game to come out. Is it a game that hasn't forced me too much to play with other people? Yes. A lot of the review that I gave for that game is yes. Am I aware that at some point it is going to try and bend me over and take a run up? Yes.
Because it's EA. And of course
because it's EA and because it's BioWare. They are going to want money from
it. It's less BioWare. It's because they're owned by EA.
The thing about any of those DLCs, though, any of those microtransactions, is the problems start to arrive are if you don't buy any of the stuff.
And you're at a disadvantage.
And somebody else does, and you can't win.
It's why cosmetic only ones are generally...
This is kind of boring.
Fortnite.
Yeah, does Destiny only have cosmetic only ones? I've generally got less of a problem with cosmetics.
There's a lot of cosmetics in Apex Legends.
I've got less of a problem with that, as long as it doesn't give you discernible advantages. And we said before, it's when when DLC and microtransactions and all that start to actually impact the design of the game.
Yeah,
it becomes a problem.
Here's the thing, and this is something that you and I spoke about in the sense that we're fully grown adults, apparently. And if you say to me, give me a £5 for this coloured suit that affects the game in no way, shape or form, do you know what my answer is? My answer is no. If your question is, give me £5 for a gun that's better than the guy next to you, it's like, well, that's a whole different thing. Here's something that's going to benefit you and it's going to give you an advantage in the game by giving us money. I'm not a fan of that. If it's something that I can happily take or leave, Go nuts. Put as many microtransactions in as you want, as long as I don't
It works the other way for me. It's like if someone says, if I am aware, if I've sort of seen behind the curtain, and I know that the game is essentially allowing me to pay to win, then all I'll say is you can take the game and go fuck yourself. Yeah. I don't care. There's enough games I can play.
That's I'm the same.
Whereas if the game was actually good and I love and I'm loving the game, maybe I might pay for a cosmetic if I love it that much.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I'm unlikely to, but it might happen.
Yeah, if I really enjoy the game, I might just pay a $5 for a cool suit.
But I've been turned off.
If I put a lot of hours into the game. Look at Ghost Recon. I loved unlocking all the cosmetic stuff because it just made it more fun. I didn't pay for any of that stuff, but there was some of it in the DLC which you got with it, so technically yes, I paid for it, but I enjoyed it and I used it and I played it and I got my money's worth out of it. So if I'm going to play something like Apex Legends, which is ongoing and always developing, and you want your characters to be unique, then yes, I would probably pay for cosmetics, but I would be pissed off if then somebody bought a bazooka that made them win every time and I couldn't without buying that bazooka. That would put me right off.
I want to say
it's a free-to-play game though, and it's just got a different model attached to it. I would prefer it to not have that, but it has to make money somehow.
Problem you've got is that this Apex Legends, I can't really comment on it. I have looked, I read like an overview of the game, like what's good about it, what's bad about it, and they've gone for a game that appeared out of nowhere. In the space of a day, they released this game.
Also, it was made by Respawn did Titanfall. Titanfall 2 was a great game.
Well, I
had a great single player. I know you don't play a lot of multiplayer, but the multiplayer is great as well.
It seems that they've done this. It seems that they've done this game.
I love the movement in Titanfall 2. It's so good.
So I've been playing Anthem at various points. I bought Titanfall 2, having owned it on the PlayStation 4, and sold it. Going, I've played this game like 4 or 5 times. I'm probably not going to play it anytime soon.
I imagine you can pick it up for like pennies these days.
So I traded my PlayStation 4 version in. Played Anthem all week and I was like, you know something? I really fancy playing Titanfall 2. Yep, I can get it for £6 on the Xbox
apparently
One.
Apex Legends is set in the same universe as Titanfall.
Is it?
But there's no Titans. They've already said there's
because
this
is. There's a rumour floating around that this is probably instead of Titanfall 3.
No, they've confirmed in the
there
last
ain't no
day,
we ain't getting no Titanfall 3. I don't think is the.
They've confirmed in the last day that when they said this is instead of Titanfall 3, the people that actually do the making of the games went, there's definitely a Titanfall 3. So I think it was EA versus Respawn going, there is a Titanfall 3.
But they might not be making it.
Well, anyway, it's set in the same universe, so
it is.
If you're a Titanfall fan, then you should like Sam said, for a free game, you might as well give it a go and see how you get on. I mean, like I say, it just popped up, so I'm like, it looks kind of cool, and it looks nice. I think the maps are quite small, but it's new,
this
so...
Again, it's not really my type of game, but
I assume that's something that will be developed. A lot of these games, look at Sea of Thieves and things like that, they've come... Since their release, they've got loads of content, and that content's all free.
But the problem is you've already pushed people away at that point. Because I think Destiny 2 had a similar sort of thing where you come out with a half-assed, half-baked game, people play it and go, this is bollocks, and they don't return. Because No Man's Sky is the classic game where they basically rebuilt it from the ground up. I mean, I don't think I would enjoy either version of the game, but...
Well, I rebought it.
On the Xbox or on the...
Yeah, so Did I rebuy it on the Xbox?
Because I was tempted to get it just because it had a lot of hype around the PlayStation. I know there was a lot of problems.
Super boring.
I know they had loads of problems with it, but I was tempted to see what they'd done with it after they rehashed it for the Xbox.
I got No Man's Sky day one release when it was originally released and was like, yep, this is exactly what I thought it was. I just wanted to see that it was exactly what I thought it was. It's so empty.
But, yeah,
so then they did
Simon got it, didn't he?
They did this re-release of it, and it was like, put so much more into it, this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. Oh, actually, you know something? That sounds like everything that was missing from it originally. Cool. Got it again, and it's like, nope, exactly the same game.
Wow.
The thing is, they added to it, but fundamentally, if you didn't enjoy the sort of the core gameplay loop of it, which is go into a planet, mine a bunch of stuff, go to a different planet, mine a bunch of stuff, which is like the opposite of I can't stand games that make your own fun.
I've always said, if a game puts me on the back foot at all times, it's the fastest way to make me lose interest.
I just find that if like games that ask you to make your own fun, it's like, isn't this what I'm paying you for?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very true.
Which links into a game. Now, I said to you, I probably want to mention this game, but probably not review it as a game because I can't review it because I haven't played it. But I have played the tutorial for Surviving Mars.
Oh yeah.
Now, I've had this game for months. And months and months and months.
Isn't that like a survival-y type game?
So, it's a game that's...
Is it on Steam? It sounds super familiar.
Yeah,
You showed me a trailer for it.
I did. Yeah.
Could be a year ago.
Yeah, I
at this
think it
point
was.
in time.
I think it was easily.
I went, oh, that totally looks like my kind of game.
I'll Google it while you.
That totally looks like my kind of game. So it's a survival game, you know. It's build a community sort of jobby. I love stuff like that, RTS sort of things. I'm all over it. So it sat in my Amazon basket because it was really expensive. It's I would say it probably borders on like an indie game. So it was. They wanted full whack originally. Then it came down.
How much is full whack? Like 50 quid?
They wanted about 45
Seems very
originally.
expensive.
Yeah, it was quite expensive.
Then it
at the
came
beginning,
down
but-
to about 26.
Yeah, it went really cheap.
And I was like, that's still potentially too much money for that style of game, so I'll leave it. And then at one point it dropped really low and I bought it. So it turned up and I was like, cool, I've got this game. Realised that I'd done the thing that I sometimes do where I hadn't really looked at any reviews or anything. And then watched a review that put me off playing it. Because the review said, this is great, that's great, and the other's great. However, it's so in-depth, it's so complicated, that unless you sit and watch someone else play it first, you probably won't have much of an idea what to do.
Again, it requires you to go to an FAQ so you can work out how to play it.
You could. That is a possibility.
Essentially,
Yeah.
that put me off for ages. Then I got to this point where I was like, you know something, bit of a game drought, and I've got a game site there in its wrapper. Let's crack it open, put it on, at least get it installed and have a go. So the tutorial for this game is probably 2 hours long. Of here's how you mine, here's how you get water.
That doesn't surprise me because when I remember looking at it on the PC and it looks like a PC game.
Yeah, it's like it's basically like what do you call it, Sim City.
But it looks like a PC game, and that's not out of the realms of possible. A lot of PC games are quite complex.
Yeah,
that's their appeal.
So it's like do this, do that, do the other. So the problems come in when basically I played the tutorial and I was like, okay, I'm with it. I think maybe they've gone back and put more tutorial in. So I then went in to play the game. It's like, right, go and survive on Mars. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? Because the beginning of the tutorial was 2 hours ago. And it's like, I think I need to get concrete. So I need to make concrete. Okay, I need a concrete mining thing. Got that. Now I need electricity. So I need like a wind turbine. I'm getting all these in, and I need water, so I need pipes to connect things with water. I need to plug things in with electricity. Okay, cool. Now what? And I got to this point where I was like, I had this like little survive on Mars. I had a dome and I had people and stuff. Cool. But then there was like all over the map, like the map over here was like stuff, and I'm like, how do I get from here over there? And I couldn't remember. And there was stuff like in the tutorial, it's like, tell this person to stop doing that job. And the button combinations, you have to like press R2 to open a thing.
It doesn't seem like a console game. It feels. Is this a mouse? Do you need a mouse and keyboard for this game?
It's on all platforms, so it's on it's on Apple, it's on Linux, it's on Windows, it's on PlayStation 4, and it's on Xbox.
But it doesn't feel like something you'd want to use a control pad for at all.
It probably does need a mouse and keyboard, if I'm honest. And like I say, I can't review this game. I just wanted to mention that as a game, the tutorial's like really in depth, but you get to a point where you're like, right, okay, but what do I do again? So it's a game I feel I need to almost go back and do the tutorial again. And actually, like,
some games do require a lot of investment into them to make them work for you. Particularly games like that.
But when you've got what's probably could turn out to be quite a good game just at your fingertips, if you were a little bit more intelligent. That's how I feel. I'm like, I'm too stupid for this game.
I find it's less intelligence and more just a willingness to to go into its mechanics and just work out how everything works.
Incidentally, it came out March last year.
Because
so there we go. It'll be a year.
Because I played a game. Because I always Endless Space is another. Because load of these games on PC, and I always consider it to like that. A tutorial would be like you were going for a car. It's like, okay, here's how we make the car go forwards. Here's how we make the car go backwards. Here's how we change gear. Now go pass a driving test. And that was Endless Space.
This is basically what this is. This is like, here's how to do a few basic things. Now go and literally survive. It reminds me of The Martian. Because you're like...
Maybe that's part of the appeal, though. Some games are like that. Like you said about Darkest Dungeon. You felt you had the same thing. It was like, here's two guys,
Darkest
this is how
Dungeon's
you
a
fight.
great game.
Here's a couple of things. Now go and...
Darkest Dungeon, again, though, is a game that says, here are some mechanics, now make them work or it will
I've
kill
been
you.
picking it up in the last 2 podcasts.
I know I've mentioned it loads of times, but Etrian Odyssey is very much a game that it's like, here are a load of mechanics, and we're giving you all the transparency you need. Do it properly, or the dungeon will kill you, and it will kill you hard.
Yeah. That is.
But I love games like that. I love games that give me all the mechanics and all the, the transparency to make it work.
Very
And then
close to the end of Darkest Dungeon. I'm very close to the end. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. It's taken a good few months of...
Isn't it years at this point? You've been playing this game for years now.
Well, that's
It's not
true.
something you were
Technically,
playing.
yes. Technically, I have been playing it for years. If I think back to when I got it on my Mac,
you can sort of come back to it though, can't you? You don't have to play it.
No,
all.
that's true. But I have been like really having a thrash at it, and I've got 500 grand in my village now, so I can buy everything, which makes it slightly easier. Not overly easier, but it's slightly easier. I've got decent armor and proper skills.
So between us, I put a list together, and we've actually done quite a... So,
Nice.
Surviving Mars, Anthem, there's Apex Legends, Far Cry. Do we need to go back to Far Cry? Or do
All
you
I'd
just
say
want
about
to-
Far Cry is, like I said, the price is lower, so it's going to. I think it's 39 quid instead of 50. So that
So
would
they
tell
know
me,
that it's god awful. is what
or
they're-
because I think possibly because of the backlash of Far Cry 5, maybe they
I just don't think this one will sell.
have dropped the price. I don't think it will either
No.
because of Far Cry 5. It looks, to be honest, it doesn't look that terrible, but then neither did Far Cry 5. It depends how
But
it plays.
It's not even then. It's just from complete over familiarity. It's like how many Far Cry games have you played, and they're all basically the same.
Yeah, and I'm
Well,
always
I think-
concerned about a game that comes out a year later.
I think we reviewed Far Cry 5 to be the worst game of 2020.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it was just a
I'm sure
massive
it isn't.
disappointment. Well, from the games I played, it definitely was.
Yeah, it was fucking awful.
For the money I spent on it, and including the DLC and all that
There was
stuff,
it was
terrible.
like
It
there
was
was
terrible.
there were mechanics in that game where it was like what we'd said was if you knew there was a mission that you could do, because you could do the missions in any order. There was no set order. There's a mission in that game that you could do. Let's say you did it. You could do it as early as the second mission,
Yeah.
which would get you a grizzly bear.
Oh yeah, the bear.
Isn't the bear? I've heard the bear is basically just like completely breaks the game.
Yeah, so you go. Let's say you go and get a bear. One of the mechanics of that game is you can send people or things into a
Characters you've
camp
recruited.
and get them to do the work for you. So if you got, I don't know, a bear, and go to that camp and sort it out.
It's literally
Right, cheers, see ya.
indestructible. It runs in and just obliterates everything, and you just stand and watch.
I had heard that. It's been so. It's coming back to me. And I was like, oh yeah, the bear. I remember a lot of people mentioning that.
Cheeseburger.
There's
That's what it's
like
It's kind of cute.
not to ruin anything, but one of the sort of the boss side of things where they just went cut, copy, paste, cut, copy, paste.
Well, yeah,
cut,
that-
copy, paste, and there you go.
It's not sad. The thing is, you've only got like a year to make a game. I'm not surprised that they're cutting corners.
Yeah, but Far Cry 5 didn't come out a year after Far Cry 4,
No,
though,
it
did
it
it?
came out a year after Far Cry Primal, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there was I forgot about Far Cry Primal.
Was it a year though? Far Cry Primal feels like a long time ago.
Okay, well we could say 2013 was Far Cry 3.
Which was a stroke of true genius.
I imagine Far Cry 4 was probably 2014. So we've definitely got an extra year in there because we've got Far Cry Primal, Far
Let's
Cry
have
5.
a little peek.
There might have been a couple of years between.
It feels more like it was a couple of years between Primal and 5, which would then mean there was even less of an excuse for
Okay,
that.
so we got Far Cry was 2004. Far Cry Instincts was
We can basically
2005.
ignore everything until 3.
Okay, so if you want to do that, then that takes us... 2012 was Far Cry 3.
Oh, so a year earlier than I thought it was.
And then 2013 was Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. 2014 was Far Cry 4.
Yeah.
Then nothing in 15. 16 was Far Cry Primal.
There you go.
Nothing in 17. 18 was Far Cry 5.
Oh, so they have been
And
missing
then-
out a year.
Yeah, so
And
they've
then now
got
is
no
New Dawn
excuse
in
for Far Cry
19.
5. There's no excuse for it.
There was a massive gap between Far Cry 2 and 3. Far Cry 2
They're
was
really
in
different
2008.
games, though.
And then
Have you ever played
3.
Far Cry 2? It's
No.
more of like the malaria survival simulator.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting game. It's one of those games where I really quite, it's interesting, but I'm not sure it's much fun.
I'd go with that. It's
I kind of respect it for
experiment.
trying something different.
Yeah.
It's very experimental.
Yeah, it's an experiment, and in some ways that works, and in other ways it's like,
I never found it the slightest bit fun to play.
yeah, yeah. I don't
But
know.
everything since 3 has been basically the same game over and over and over again.
That's because they had such a great format with 3. It's like, oh, we did really well with that. Let's do that again. It's like,
But 3 was kind of a bit of a lightning in there because it had a great villain and everything. It all just kind of came together. Whereas 4 just felt like 3 only not as good, and it's mostly been going down that trajectory ever since. I thought they were yearly, so the fact that they aren't yearly, that's actually
makes it worse, doesn't it? Makes it a little less palatable. It's like, yeah, you got no excuses. No excuses.
I was just surprised by the simple things, like I said to you, like the achievements. Ubisoft are great for doing collect 100 of these, or get 100% of this, collect all the trinkets, the kind of stuff I like doing in Assassin's Creed. I know it's not everybody's thing, but Ubisoft are good for doing those things. Whereas this had loads of trinkets in it and things to collect, cool things to collect, that there were no achievement to get them anyway. So what was the point? They didn't get, if you had 6 baseballs, which you could collect these different baseballs with little bits of information on them. Well, what was the point? There was no achievement to get them all. There was no nothing.
what's an achievement do for you? By that logic, they might as well not do anything.
Those things make me explore the game further. Like I'll go to areas of the map where I might not go. You find like in Assassin's Creed Origins, there's loads of places you go that you probably wouldn't go to if you didn't have them. Like the area of the desert, where you see like the you hallucinate and all that stuff.
Yeah.
There's a really cool area in the middle of that desert that you probably wouldn't have gone to if you didn't have the achievement to kind of find the stuff that was in it. And I like that's. I mean, it's not everybody's thing. You hate like looking for bear asses or whatever, but
Collecting 20 bear asses is slightly different. That's when a game makes you farm.
Which I understand, but whereas I don't. I like discover 100% of the map,
And
defog the map and stuff.
I've got other friends,
and it didn't have any of that.
I've got other friends that are exactly the same. For them, a game is, do you want me to collect 100 of something? Yes, I do. Right, I'm on. Let's go.
That's one of the reasons.
It's
I
more.
love
It's not.
Assassin's Creed.
It's rarely challenging is the problem. So it's just like, am I just doing? Is this just wasting my time? Am I just wandering around picking stuff off the floor here?
But you could boil gaming down to, is gaming not just a waste of time?
But you know what I mean. The point is,
there's various degrees.
But
of
if
it.
you were to do just the game campaign from A to Z, if you just did a campaign and didn't do any side missions, didn't do any of the other stuff, I could probably finish every game out there in a few hours. Because the campaign is easy. It always is. You follow the story. There's some cutscenes. You kill the boss.
That's not. That might be true of like big budget games. It's not true of every game at all.
Okay, but the things that I like are those side missions and those other bits. That's what makes me play.
I would argue all big budget games are incredibly easy, but that's because they're designed to appeal to everyone. So,
maybe.
So on my list, at which point do we poke the bear and say Metro? Which point do we say?
Yeah,
Metro?
do it. Get it poked.
Do it now.
I'm actually less bothered than you might think I would be.
I read the article that
It's a pain
Andy
in the
sent me
arse.
today.
It's a pain in the arse because it's it's just an extra storefront for PC gaming, which is already. I feel like PC gaming has got a lot of problems at the moment.
The price seems to be something that I'm very surprised about. We were talking about this.
Well, it's now basically the same as a console.
Yeah, I've
unacceptable.
always understood that PC games.
Well,
were
you're paying for the
cheaper
same game.
But is it the case that PC is purely digital now?
Yeah.
So you're not paying for the same it's not content. It's not you're not paying for the same. Like I go out and I get a box and a disc, which some people don't.
But if you were to buy it off PSN, it would cost you the same price.
It cost me more.
I mean,
it's just hysterical. It's like, do you want a box and a game and some instructions, or do you want none of that but to spend more money on it?
I don't disagree with you. Being able to resell your games is one of the really big perks.
I found that trading stuff in is what allows me to play more games, because all the digital stuff I've downloaded that I've finished 100%, I can't do anything with that.
I don't disagree with you at all. I think that's completely fair.
Yeah, I like trading stuff in. I mean, I've traded in a few games that have given me enough money to get to next upcoming game.
Yeah. So one of the problems that we've got is that for me and you, we're going to go out and we're going to buy Metro on release day, and we're going to bring it home, we're going to stick it in, we're going to install it and do whatever. For you now have to go and get a different store.
Well, it's arguably easier, because all I have to do is go and download the Epic storefront, and it's just another storefront.
It's just another cash grab as well. They've gone to the people that made Metro and they went, we're going to give you a big sack of cash, you're going to give us your game exclusively.
Yeah, but it's like I was saying to you, though, you can't be disappointed because you have to go to a different shop to get something. Like I said to you, if your favourite donut shop shuts down, right, but the shop down the road opens up, you're going to go, I'm not going to go there, man, because I've got to go through that door, I've got to speak to that cashier, and I need to choose my donuts.
If you need to use a different login and password every time you went to a different donut shop, you might find it a bit more of a pain in the arse.
But if you set up your Epic site, your login one time and your password, then why would you need to do it every time? Do you have to put in a different password every time?
No, but it means I've got 5 different clients.
Okay, but we all have hundreds of passwords anyway.
Yeah, and
that's
bollocks.
the problem.
It's bullshit.
That's the problem.
You're never going to get away with it.
How many times do you try and log into something where you go,
what the fuck was my password? And then it's going to get to the point now where you're going to have a different client for every different game, and it's a pain in the arse. I've got friends on Steam. Different friends to Origin, which is different friends to Uplay. I've got different login details, I've got different features. They don't even have fucking achievements on Epic, so you can't leave reviews. It's basically not.
Yeah, I understand that the Epic site isn't complete. I read that in the article. But if it was fully working and fully complete, what?
Because it's a pain in the arse. Imagine if, like, on your Xbox, you had to use every time. You didn't have to log into your Xbox. You had to log into something else each and every time for each different game. Would you not find that to be a pain in the arse?
It depends what I'm doing. I mean, the way I look at it is if Steam are offering a platform of games that I want at that price, then I'm going to use Steam. If the games aren't there but they're in a different place, then that's what I'll do. Whether it's a pain in the arse or not is irrelevant. It's the same as, like I said to you, if you always go to HMV and buy your music and HMV closes down, and there's somewhere else that does it. Well, eventually we're going the way where everything's going to be online.
A better comparison would be, for example, I can buy Steam keys from Green Man Gaming. I can buy them CD keys. I can buy from Steam Direct. I can buy them from Amazon. I can buy Steam keys for a variety of prices elsewhere, but ultimately I'm still using the same platform for it. So I've still got the competition aspect, which is good. Whereas if I've got different, it's more like exclusivity on yours. Oh god, I can only buy this game on the fucking PS4 or whatever. It's more of a pain because you've got to go to a different thing. And remember, each of these storefronts uses up more of your bloody RAM. You've got the problem of the Epic Store being owned by fucking Tencent, so it's you've got the Chinese involved.
Yeah, that's not the right. I read that part in the article.
So, and it's like I don't really trust Tencent with my details, to be honest.
The problem that I've got in all of this is, in the world we live in now, we are told that X makes our lives better, X makes our lives easier. We work in a job where our job is to make people's lives better and easier. We build systems that take a pain in the ass process and turn it into a button click. That is what we do.
But they still need login details.
Yeah. So we spend our lives being told that something makes our life easier, being sold something that makes our life easier, but on the other side of the fence, on the other hand, somebody goes, here's something that makes your life more difficult.
But maybe it's a question
you're right in the sense.
But maybe it's a question of evolution. Though, think back obviously don't think back because none of us were born there. But when you used to have butcher, baker, candlestick maker on your street, right? You'd go there. It was next door. Then they had supermarkets, and everyone went, "Oh fuck me, supermarkets! Those places are shut down. Now we've got to go to supermarkets." But then supermarkets evolved so that everything was in the supermarket. So now, if they shut your supermarket and there's just one massive store somewhere, everyone will go, oh, that's a ball ache, I used to go to Tesco's, now I go there. But people evolve and they adapt to it, so maybe that's what's happening.
That's actually an excellent example would be if you shut down the supermarket and now you had to go to all the different four corners of York to get your bullshit. Would that not be a pain in the arse?
No, but what I'm saying is maybe what it lacks is there is no superstore. There's not one place where you can log in and say. So
that's kind of what Steam
we might be onto
was.
something here, where you've got your Tesco's, and within Tesco's is Steam, Epic, but you log into Tesco's and then you buy from any of those platforms.
That's you're right. That would be fine.
That's where the evolution has stopped.
That would be fine. And that's kind of, Steam was kind of just where you went. I mean, that has its own problems because then you start to get into monopoly territory.
And this is the conversation we had, because what we were saying was, you'd said to me, well, it drives competition, and I was like, but is that game going to be any cheaper on the new platform?
Yeah, that's where the problem's lie. If it doesn't drive competition, then you do ask what's the point.
For the exclusivity sort of problem, I mentioned that my problem is that they bought it at the 11th hour and thrown it onto their own storefront. So it's like, okay, did you fund the development of this game? No. So all you've done, basically, from my perspective, is make my life a pain in the arse. So, yeah, I would say it's not like when like God of War. So if Sony essentially funded that game from start to finish, and yes, God of War might have existed in some other form, but in its current form, it only exists because Sony made it that way.
So there's an example.
So that's fair enough.
If you want to get on a bus now and you want a return ticket, they want £4.40 for a return ticket. That's an astronomical amount of money. But if
for a shit service,
for a horrific service, if you travel to Manchester and you want to get on a bus and you want to go 12 miles on that bus, the thing they'll say to you is, give me £1.20. The reason being is because there's 4 other buses from 4 other companies lined up next to that bus. They want you to get on their bus, so they go, we're going to charge you next to nothing to go 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah, I agree that's where the online thing's gone, because if you thought that you had all those login details but you could get a better price depending on what they would say for example, Steam got Division 2 and it was 20 quid on there, but on Epic it was 50 quid, where you're going to go to Steam, but then say there's another exclusive game on Epic and it's a lot cheaper than Steam, then you'd be like, oh well, I want login details. The way it's cheaper, but it doesn't do that.
The way that it's going, unfortunately, now is that every publisher will have their own storefront, and that is the only place you'll be able to buy those games. Like if I want to buy Origin games, for example, I basically buy it from. I have to buy it from Origin.
Yeah.
One of the price things for Anthem was EA Access.
Yeah, EA Access.
You could buy the game with free
EA Access is actually a really interesting. If we don't mind going to another discussion, EA Access is kind of a really interesting discussion, because I have a feeling that's where all of games are going to go in the not too distant future.
So basically, it will be
you can do
that games are going to go to a streaming service.
But it's going to be like cable is now. It's just going to be a nightmare engine where you've got to have CBS and Netflix and Amazon Prime and different subscriptions for each and every one of them.
But what have we proven? We've proven that we'll happily do that.
Because people
I've got Netflix, I've got
I don't think
Prime.
people happily do it. People grumble and do it because fundamentally it's the only way to do it.
But when I go onto my PlayStation or my Xbox and I go, I want to watch something, like when I wanted to watch Jim Carner, I just opened the Amazon, the Prime Video thing and watched Jim Carner. If I want to watch F is for Family, I open the Netflix thing, I go onto the Netflix, I watch F is for Family.
Sure.
It's not a massive ball ache to do that. Yeah, it'd be nice if they were all in the same place, but that's not how it is. Some games are probably going to go down that route, and it will be EA Access, Game Pass, where you get all your Microsoft games from. PlayStation will just go, well, here's our Sony store, and Sony store, we paid for God of War, so you get God of War from there. We pay for Spider-Man, you get Spider-Man from there. That probably is what it'll be.
Because they want the Netflix model, because basically game companies don't like the idea of you paying once for a game.
No.
They want you to continually pay for the same games over and over again.
Yeah.
The Netflix model.
Yeah.
But then if they turn out like Game Pass though, that's like what, £7? And you get some if they
about 15 quid, I think, isn't it, for Game Pass?
No, Game Pass is like £7.
£7.
Yeah, I think it's £6.99, and you get some really good games on there, and it's a really good way to like play things like Forza, which were like £50. I played Forza for quite a long time, And now I've not played it, but it's still downloaded, and if I want to go back to it, I can. Okay, I've not traded it in, so there is that. And I am paying $6.99 a month.
If you cancel your subscription, you can no longer play it.
You can't play it.
You're renting.
Which is the same as Netflix, though, isn't it?
Yes.
But if they've got the content, if all the content's on there, if it's got the games on there I want, I don't mind doing that.
Something that has annoyed me, because I've taken great pride in binning off all of my subscriptions. So PSN gone, Xbox Gold gone, because I often do that. Well, it's just a joke. PSN was for the PlayStation.
Paying for your own internet.
That was very
PSN's
expensive.
been awful.
Yeah, that's.
Whereas Xbox Gold was actually the better one. Whereas
Just a quick note on Xbox Gold. They've got Assassin's Creed Rogue on there. For anyone that hasn't played Rogue, you should definitely get it. It's free, and it's the best chapter of the Assassin's Creed story, because it's about an Assassin's Creed that turns into one of the bad guys. It's really cool, really good story. Just put that on there because it's this month.
I got rid of.
I think that was free on Uplay as well, because I definitely got an Assassin's Creed for free.
It's the best chapter of the story, and it's so underrated.
I got rid of the subscriptions, and it's like, well, I can still use like Netflix and stuff like that. I don't need PSN to do that. I don't need Xbox Gold to do that. And then I was like, right, I'm ready to play the Anthem beta, the Anthem alpha.
Need gold.
I need gold, don't I?
I would expect that, because it's basically a multiplayer game.
So I was like, okay, I download that. All right, okay, I do that. I played something on the PlayStation, and it was like, it was I played Anthem on the PlayStation, so I was like, oh, you need PSN. Like, okay, and I wanted to play Forza, so I didn't have gold, so I had to get gold and then get Game Pass and then play Forza. So my saving of £50 was started to be eaten away by, I've got to pay for 3 months of gold so that I can still play.
That's one thing coming from a PC gaming perspective. It's like, why are you paying for your own internet to play games?
I've always asked that question, because on PlayStation for a long time it was free.
Yeah,
they never did
PS3.
that. It was free.
Yeah, it was free.
And Xbox have always had what started off as Xbox Live, and it was specifically for multiplayer games. But I had a PC back then as well, and I was like, why do I want to pay an extra £7 to play an online game when on my PC it's free if I've got internet? I've never understood.
The answer is super simple: because you will pay it.
Because you will, because you've got no choice.
Yeah, I don't.
Whereas on the PC, things on the PC. And yeah, I appreciate I'm a PC gamer, but it's just like, if someone says, if Steam suddenly said you have to pay to play a game, it's like, no, I won't. I'll set up my own server.
Yeah, that's true.
On the PC, you don't have to do whatever that anyone tells you to do. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
That's one of the good parts about the PC platform. There's lots of very bad parts about the PC platform at the moment.
Yeah.
Namely, the storefront problem and the ridiculous price of hardware.
Yeah, I was going to say that's one of the reasons I stopped playing on the PC, was because the hardware upgrades.
Well, we're coming to the point now for a graphics card upgrade now. It's going to be costing me £700 or £800.
Yeah,
so when it comes down to for next generation, yeah, it is, and it's completely ridiculous. It's completely out of hand.
Yeah, it is very expensive.
So maybe I will return to consoles next generation. I've always been I've always been hardware agnostic.
Well, wasn't it you that sent me the Apple thing? And I've been saying for ages, when are Apple going to jump on the games bandwagon, because they do so many games on their App Store anyway.
They'll presumably go for a streaming style service. So that feels like it's the future as well.
I would imagine that would be pretty good. I mean, they've had their own controller for ages.
Yeah, but Mac hardware's bollocks.
But it's not. There aren't enough games for it. To be honest,
they don't have the hardware, as in they don't have the software and they don't have the hardware.
Yeah.
Whereas a streaming service kind of gets around all of these issues. That introduces its own issues, but it feels like maybe they will introduce the EA access and all of these various things, as well as a stream the game service as well.
So. Well, streaming is the way. That's already been nodded. That streaming, game streaming, is the way it's going. So.
I mean, because I tried it on Ed's PC. I tried Crash Bandicoot, which is perhaps not the best type of game for it, and I found it to be virtually unusable. As in, the input lag was so ridiculous that
that's the problem. Is that certainly the UK is not ready for that, because there are so many remote areas that do not have the lines for that. You don't have the broadband for it, so it'll take fucking eons before that takes off. And if you release it too early, you're basically wiping out half your market, so it will fail.
If it's cheap enough, people might just put up with it.
I hate lag and shit like that. I can't stand. That would put me right off.
I mean, online games already have lag.
Yeah, but well, I've not played a game with lag for quite a long time, other than when we first got State of Decay.
State of Decay, and it was so noticeable.
But that was due to the game, wasn't it? And then
Yeah.
once they fixed it, it was okay. But because I've not played a game with lag for so long, I was just like, "What's this?"
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that much. But because we're not used to seeing it, it seemed like a shed load. I mean, there were moments where it was like you were there,
the car was over there,
and then you
were
suddenly
here
just
and stuff
appear.
like
But that was such a it was comical because we've not seen it so long.
Yeah.
Whereas, like you just said, you get lag all the time. I don't. I hardly ever get lag on games I play.
What I'm saying is that you will have lag. This is not up for debate. So you will.
Yeah, but
it's just not noticeable.
Okay, that's what I mean.
Whereas, sure, it's like if you're streaming it. The problem with streaming a game, of course, is that you've got to say. I would have thought it'd be super different to playing an online game, but maybe it is.
I'd have thought the data you have to squeeze in is a lot more.
Yeah, that'll be it. I would have
Because
thought.
you've got to squeeze in the data of the game plus the data of the online part of it. I would imagine.
Which isn't a huge amount of.
I just can't imagine that being if you've got a lower broadwidth or bandwidth or whatever, then you're going to be fucked, aren't you? If you live on a farm, for example, or you're in a village that hasn't got fibre yet, and everyone else in the town's got fibre, you're going to be screwed, aren't you? People in the town are going to have a whale of a time unless everybody's using it.
I actually agree with you. I don't think the UK is ready for it at all.
It's not. Nowhere near. Nowhere near.
Well, how many years have they been saying that York's going to be the first ultra fibre city?
Yeah.
They've been saying it for years.
Yeah, it's
Nowhere near.
Well, they're doing it, but the infrastructure to do it is a nightmare. To give David Cameron said years ago when he first came in, is that every home should have broadband by X date. I can't remember what it was. That's such a massive task.
And we're massively behind
massive
other
task.
countries.
It's because we don't have a singular infrastructure to it at all. We should have started a lot earlier.
Yeah,
Like a lot
definitely,
of things.
definitely.
One of the games on the list that's coming out next week. Are we up to that point now?
Okay.
Crackdown 3.
Yeah, there it is.
So they've released.
Xbox exclusive.
It's real and everything.
It is.
There are these strange things about games that they
Original
release
Crackdown was belting.
certain things, and I go, "The fuck have you done that for?" So they've released the opening cinematic,
Yeah, you said that because I
Of
told Tim
Crackdown
because he's
3.
going to get Crackdown, and I told Tim to watch it because I thought he might like it.
and I was like, "Why have you done that?" So we all know what the beginning of the game looks like. Right? Okay, comes out next week.
It might also be for people that have never played it.
Well, they made the original Crackdown was like 2006 or something, and no one played Crackdown 2.
No, the Crackdown 2 was an epic fail, wasn't it?
It wasn't great.
It was
Yeah,
an epic fail. Yeah.
they were just like, we're trying to recreate something and make it different at the same time.
Crackdown is the open world. Cause I know I've moaned about open world games a lot, but Crackdown is the type of open world game I enjoy because it actually uses its open world.
Yeah.
As in, I've got the mobility to actually make jumping around buildings fun.
Saints Row
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Saints Row 4 is sort of my gold standard because it's just like I can be across the other end of the map relatively quickly.
Mm.
The problem with open world games is like, don't make me ride my horse for 20 minutes.
Why did you have to mention horses?
Don't make me ride my horse for 20 minutes, assholes.
Well,
Just
my horse there can't run anywhere. Anytime.
Stop.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I don't know
We've
what
done.
you're
We've
referencing.
covered Red Dead. We've been
I don't know what you're
there.
referencing.
It's been put in the box. It's gone. It's buried.
It has gone. It is no longer
Yeah,
here.
it's-
have you actually traded it in?
I
Yeah,
certainly
he traded
fucking
it.
did.
Yeah.
I was speaking of games that came out last year that you weren't super happy with. The Darksiders 3 is on sale, and I was almost
Have you traded
tempted.
that as well? Have you traded
Don't do
Darksiders
it.
3?
I traded all the shit.
Okay, right.
I said I took a massive
I couldn't
bag of shit
remember.
to a shop and gave them it and went, there you go. It's still steaming. Darksiders 3, Just Cause 4,
But it could
and
be good.
Red Dead 2.
It might be good.
It really isn't. Every review you've ever been told of that game is nailed
I
on,
know, but
especially the one I gave you.
Not Red Dead.
No, Darksiders
That's
3.
The thing that worries me the most about Crackdown 3 is, so, let's look at the opening cinematic of the game. Okay, so Terry Crews is heavily involved with this game, which it's still weirding me out. It's like, why? I mean,
He's popular.
I love Terry Crews, but at the same time, I'm like, do I need him fully embedded in that game? You know, he's definitely part of the game.
It's popular. I think it fits the tone. I don't think that's.
I saw something that said that Crackdown 3 is.
Why not?
It's some sort of experiment of some kind of game, which I'm like, okay. Didn't have the time to read the article about it, so I can't really comment on that. The one thing that does stand out for a game that comes out next week is how little gameplay we've seen.
It's been in development. Was it supposed
6
to be?
years.
Was it supposed to be a launch game for
Launch
the Xbox
title
One?
for
Yeah, it
Xbox
was.
One.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
God, that's been through some. I worry that's been in development hell for so long.
Well, there was even a hint that it wouldn't come out till the 22nd, but it's actually out on the 15th now.
I mean,
So
games that have been in development for that long. Sometimes you get an Ocarina of Time, but more often you get a Duke Nukem Forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, my biggest fear is, like a lot of
Dragging
things,
it up.
if you don't see, a fair amount of it, probably means it's not going to be very good. And it probably means that the people that are releasing it know that it's not very good.
Well, you'll know on Game Pass in a week's time.
well, speaking of games that have been delayed since forever, I noticed Nintendo have taken Metroid Prime 4 and just had it taken out back and shot. They basically restarted development completely on it, which suggests that, in fairness to Nintendo, they generally won't allow someone to release a bad game for them.
They have added Warframe.
So that's on my list as well.
I think Warframe is pretty much the example of how to do a free-to-play game.
Yeah, that came out on the Nintendo Switch November 2018 apparently. So interestingly, Shan plays it on the PlayStation, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll have a look at this. And
I like the
things
design
popped
of
up
it.
for it on the Xbox yesterday. So recently got rid of the PlayStation because I don't really use it that much, and so we've downloaded it on the Xbox. So I'm going to give it a pop.
Warframe is
It's been around since 2014.
it's a great game. It's one of those games that they completely, as in it came out like even before that, I believe, but they rebuilt it from the ground up. But it's a really fun game. Honestly, it's great.
I really enjoy that game. So I downloaded it ages ago because it was like free, and I'm like, it's free.
I just like the fact that everything looks kind of like the Guyver as well.
Yeah.
I think that's the main reason that I like
So
it.
I downloaded it and I was like, oh
That's
yeah,
what Shan likes it as well.
This looks cool. And the first few levels of it, I'm like, how is this game free? This game's fucking brilliant. I love it. It is great. And you do this, and it was so easy to get
I would
into.
call it like
so easy to play.
good Destiny, basically, is how I think of Warframe.
And then
Destiny.
It's good Destiny.
so many levels in, and I'm like, this is super cool. And it went, you should start playing with other people. I was like, yeah, it's not our role petal. I don't do other
It's
people.
fun. It's really fun with friends though. If you've got people who are playing it, then
But
like
that
a
was
fun
it.
party.
As I always say, part of the reason I don't do multiplayer is most of the time I ain't got anybody to play with because my friends play at normal times, and I'm like, let's play at midnight. No.
In
So I
fairness,
know what
I tend to play later on, but
So
on the
I'm like,
platforms.
okay, I don't want to play with other people. And Warframe went, then you ain't playing this game. It's like, but you're going to give me the option to play on my own. Yeah, you try and do that mission on your own.
it's not really designed for that though. So
Yeah, and that was the problem. I'd stopped playing it because I had no one to play with, and the game went, you can't get past this part of the game without other people. It's like, okay.
I think the problem is that the whole adult life problem is that you've generally got to set up games in advance. It's not like you can just go fancy a game. Well, I mean you can, but it's
Well, look at we had to set games up when we wanted to play State of
On the
Decay,
morning,
things
we're
like
playing
that.
game.
Yeah,
so-
we had to prepare it because the chances of actually crossing anybody is almost non-existent.
Yeah.
I guess if you're
At
a
least there's
student
a lot
at college, you probably can.
there's a lot more cross-platform play these days, which I think is really, really good for
yeah, I agree.
for
That's really
everyone.
Cool. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I love the fact that I can play against like Xbox players on my PC now. It's like good.
Yeah, that's
Good.
well. I think the first game I saw that with was Gears of War. That was one
Yeah.
of the first games I
Gears
saw
of War 4.
where maybe three, maybe as early as 3 when you could do the first time they added Horde mode, which I think was 3, right?
2, I think, had
Oh,
Horde
okay,
mode, but
I
either way,
just
there wasn't
remember
PC
seeing a little
version of that.
computer screen instead of like a
You definitely can on Gears 4.
controller, and I was like, "Wow, that's really cool." And then that's when I could see.
I've seen it quite a lot, and Microsoft seems to be really pushing for it. Because I noticed that another thing while I would talk about Xbox Live on the Switch.
Yes, don't
Isn't
get
that-
it.
Well,
Xbox Live on the
Don't
Switch.
understand what that
nor
concept is.
do
That's
I.
interesting.
Are they using Xbox Live infrastructure? Because the Nintendo online system is fucking shit.
Yeah, I remember you saying
beyond
that before.
belief.
Yeah, I remember you saying
They're
that
10 years
before.
behind. It's awful. You know what? The Switch version might be better, but the 3DS was dog shit. The Wii U was terrible, and I see no reason to believe that the Switch will be any better. Xbox Live, pretty great whenever I used it over the years.
It's very good. Yeah, it is very good.
But
It's
Microsoft
a
seems to
good
be
service.
Microsoft seems to be like moving away from this idea of we've got a console and we want to compete it. They seem to want to just like have a more dispersed service.
I think that but there's a few games
interesting.
where games where if you've got the PC version, you get the Xbox version.
Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah, so you get like the digital copy.
If I bought
Xbox
Sea
as
of
well,
Thieves, then I could play it on the Xbox One. Like I own Gears of War 4, I could play that on the Xbox.
Yeah, I've seen a few.
They don't seem to. They seem less bothered about like exclusive. Like they're not bothered whether you buy it on the PC or you buy it on the Xbox. As long as you buy it somewhere,
I think they just want you to buy a Microsoft game, basically.
Which is, I think, quite remarkably progressive for Microsoft.
Yeah.
So
any big company that does something out of the ordinary, where you go, I don't understand. You're giving me something
because Sony have really battened down the hatches when it comes to.
because
they're the only ones who won't play ball with anyone.
Well, see, interestingly, the PlayStation was like the I think it was the most bought console last year, but the better console was actually the Xbox for what you got. Content-wise was better. I'm saying that I just got rid of my PlayStation for various reasons.
I think
one
the
of the
PS4
things
is
is
a better console.
I just can't get with it. I don't like the interface. I don't like the way it works.
If I had to choose,
Xbox so simple
if you had to recommend a console for someone,
I'm literally the opposite. I can't stand the Xbox interface.
It's really weird.
I can't use it. It's like, show me my game library. Okay, well, let's see how hard we can make that.
Isn't that just how used to it you are, though?
Possibly. But I find it really complicated, really hard to use. Like, the number of times I've tried to do something and ended up going, oh yeah, let's just do this instead because this makes sense. Whereas you go on PlayStation, it's like, where do I want to go? I've got a list of things that goes across, I want to go there. And I'm there.
If I had to recommend a console to someone, though, it would be a PS4, like, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Its exclusives are, frankly, so much better, it's almost embarrassing. And it is actually a better piece of hardware. Like, it's got a more powerful GPU. Once you get into the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro, that does shift the numbers somewhat. Because the X is just the best of those consoles by a country mile.
Yeah, it is very good, the X.
But in terms of, like exclusives on the Xbox One are pretty not.
Yeah, I said
great.
that to you last year, didn't I? I said that the exclusives on the PlayStation were better. Yeah.
When you got Spider-Man, God of War, and all that sort of stuff, it's like, is
it Horizon Zero Dawn?
And even then, you've got some of that. Because Sony are really good for just like really nurturing their talent and let them do what they want. Because you've got stuff like, what's the guy's made Shadow of the Colossus? They did one, didn't they?
They did.
Last Guardian.
That was it.
But in general, they just. I don't know. I just feel they're better at it. Microsoft are terrible for taking. They're better now, but at one point they were terrible for just like murdering their own studios.
Well, we think that's what happened with State of Decay. Was that they said get this fucking game out now, and it wasn't ready. And eventually it was a good game, but when it first came out, it was abysmal. It was a terrible game. It had so many bugs.
But if it's
Sea of Thieves was kind of the same.
If it's one thing that we've shown as well is that generations can radically shift who's on top.
Yeah.
So it probably is still up for. I would say Sony in general have had a very good run at things because the PS1 was like massively ahead in its generation. The PS2 was so far ahead again it was embarrassing.
That was great. PS2, yeah.
The PS3 and the Xbox would kind of neck and neck, but the 360 had a much stronger start. And obviously the Sony have dominated this generation quite heavily as well. Yeah. But next generation that might not be so. I would say if I had to choose which was the better company at the moment, which I would say that Microsoft are the more progressive and the more.
Game Pass has brought me back round.
Being able to play all your older 360 games is a super cool feature.
That is
that's something that I find with the PS4 doesn't have any backwards compatibility.
I've been playing Crackdown.
Yeah, I was really surprised that there's no backwards compatibility on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I'm just
it's because they want to sell them to you again.
You lose so much, that massive back catalogue that.
But they've really put in a hell of a lot of effort into making that 360 catalogue backwards compatible. It's not a massive amount of effort.
It's a huge catalogue. Well, I think the whole catalogue is pretty much on the Game Pass, isn't it? There's an awful lot.
There'll be a few weirdy beardy ones that aren't, but there's a hell of a lot.
There's a couple I've looked for that have not been on there, but there's a lot of stuff on there.
And you know what? If you own an old 360 collection, that's a massive coup for you. If you, I don't own my 360 stuff anymore, but if I still owned it, I had like 100 odd games, 360 games back in the day.
Yeah.
That shelf used to be full of 360 games, and then I had like that many PS3 games.
Because
now you've got a lot more PS4 games.
Because when I use the 360 more than the PS3, just because I found the controller. It usually comes down to which controller I prefer. Mm. I found the 360 controller to be...
Yeah, that's one of my preferences as well. I prefer the controller.
And the Xbox One pad. If I had to choose again, I'd rather have the Xbox One pad than the PS4 pad. But I'm used to the asymmetrical sticks. So, but that's preference.
Yeah.
You mentioned Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I just want to say, if nobody's seen the trailer...
I still haven't watched it. I meant to
just watch it. It's great. It's really cool. You get Scorpion versus Raiden, and then you get a surprise Scorpion. It's cool. It's just... I watched it last night, and I was like...
It's just appeared out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's super violent.
And he was like, yeah, and then just blurted out this whole thing about
super violent, super
like,
OTT.
Okay.
It's really cool. It's a really cool cinematic. It's just fun. It makes me want to play the game.
But you've got Dead or Alive 6 coming out.
Yeah, that's out on the 15th.
You know who's going to buy Dead or Alive 6?
Nobody.
I don't know.
Not a single human being on firstly.
Because what they've done is like, we felt that Dead or Alive was a bit sexist with all its jiggling tits, so we toned them all down. It's like, that's what people buying the
only
game.
reason people bought that game.
It's like, why would if you remove if you remove the jiggling titties from that game, why would you not play any of the other much better fighting games?
For a fighting game.
Go and play Soul Calibur or something.
Yeah. Anything.
Yeah, you get Geralt in Soul Calibur.
That's also got some jiggling titties, but just not as many as Dead or Alive 5, which I've not played any since the second one on the PS2. I'll be honest with you.
Well, this is on the PlayStation and the Xbox.
Well,
see, I have a thing about fighting games. I feel that the fighting game genre died pretty much around about Street Fighter 2. It's like, has there ever been anything past that?
I think on Game Pass there's a Marvel v Capcom.
Yeah, that's sort of thing.
I don't know. Fighting games they're still relatively niche, but they've been.
How much of an advancement have we had since Street Fighter 2?
Well, but interestingly, though, when Tim and I went to Eurogamer, there was a Street Fighter tournament, and they were dishing out a lot of money for the winners. Yeah. And Tim and I were like, this, because you could play the game as well, and it seems ridiculously easy to play.
But does it need to change? I suppose I will say that the 2D shmup is the shark of the video game world. It got to where it was 250 million years ago and was like, stuck here. This is fine. The shark is fundamentally the same as it was 250 million years ago, and the same is true of 2D shooters, and the same seems to be true of 2D fighters as well.
Yeah, people still. I mean, if they're still being developed, there's obviously still a market for them. Because why would you? I mean, there's not been a Soul Calibur game for a long time until the one that just came out, and I thought it was really odd that why is somebody making Soul Calibur? I mean, something like Mortal Kombat just seems like something that would go.
They seem to release quite a few of those.
But yeah, there's been a few.
Because
I was like quite surprised.
What was the DC one they did?
Injustice.
Injustice was basically Mortal Kombat in terms of its mechanics. Well, its mechanics were
there were
almost the
a
same.
few last year. There was another one as well. I can't remember what it was called. But it was like it was set in China and there was a bit of storyline. I think you could fight a panda and shit like that. And I was like, that was like.
Well, there's Dragon Ball Fighters as well, which is also really popular.
See, having said everything I've said about fighting games, I'm actually quite interested in the Jump Force game. Because the beta for
is that all the Shonen Jump characters?
Yeah.
I know almost nothing about Shonen Jump.
And I'm like, do I want to create a team that's got like Naruto, Ichigo, and I don't know, somebody else in it?
So, okay.
Yeah, I do. And then I want to fight that against other people. Cool. I want to do that. Yeah, let's do it. But am I going to buy it? No. Am I going to play am I going to try and get the beta and have a go on it? Probably. Problem with fighting games is you go I won, I lost, I'm bored.
The thing with fighting games in general is that the kind of lifestyle games, in that you've got to get good or you will lose.
Well, Soul Calibur had added a story mode with an actual.
They're not really designed for one player, though, are they?
Horrible.
They're multiplayer games. They're designed for 1v1 fighting games. They're designed to play with other people. And if you're not good, you will lose.
The Soul Calibur story was horrible. So you got to an area, you fought the bad guy, then you'd walk to another area, and instead of getting cinematic cutscenes for the story, you'd have to read reams and reams and reams of utter boredom. And then go to the next bit.
In a fighting game.
Then go to the next bit and fight the other dude that was really easy to beat. Then suddenly, you go to the next dude and you couldn't beat him unless you went back and beat the other guy you've already beaten 6 times. But you still had to read all the bullshit again. I was like, oh my god, this is terrible. Anyway, it's since been traded in. I enjoyed fighting with Geralt for quite a long time, and then I was like, even he's boring now. So.
I would like to play Smash.
Super Smash Brothers.
I love a Smash. I've owned. I don't own a Switch, but I've owned every Smash Brothers up until
that got massive coverage at Eurogamer as well.
Everyone was fucking Smash.
Yeah, there was a lot of people playing that, and there was a tournament. There was a win some money.
The thing is, it used to be a celebration of Nintendo, whereas these days it's mostly just a celebration of video games.
Yeah, celebration of iconic characters.
It's like you've got Mega Man and Sonic and Pac-Man. It's
hasn't got Master Chief though, has it?
You know what? I'm sure that Nintendo would love to add Master Chief.
Well, I bet
to Smash.
to be honest, I bet if they're working with Microsoft
That's Solid
Live,
Snake in it, you know.
Yeah. If they're working with Microsoft Live, maybe they.
You know what?
Xbox Live.
I would say it is not within the realms out of the realms of possibility that Master Chief might be in it.
I'll buy it then.
Because they've been adding DLC characters. They've had Cloud in it. They've had all sorts of people.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think Microsoft would be that bothered these days.
Pretty sure there's a Need for Speed I bought just because you could get Ecto 1.
But yeah.
So, up until the point today, I don't know how this would have ended, but I read a preview for a game that was on my definitely going to buy it, was on my I'll get it day one, was on my super looking forward to this game, and this is a game that I saw a little while ago. I was like, ooh, that looks cool. I like that. And then I saw more like gameplay and stuff. I was like, oh, that looks good. And then you just see like cutscenes, and you see more and more and more. And then I read this preview for it today, and was like, I am super excited for this game. Devil May Cry 5.
See, I'd said to you last year that I thought it looked really good. I said to you, I saw a trailer for it, and I said this looks really good.
Sure.
And you were like, uh-huh.
Capcom have really been
kind of left
informed
it, and now you're like, oh, it's super exciting. I've been saying for months, it looks really good.
So Devil May Cry 4 is probably one of my favourite games
fucking banger of a game
for longevity, because turn on either of those consoles now, you'll find Devil May Cry 4 on there right now, because I'm like,
I can't believe it's been that long since we had a proper Devil May Cry game.
At various intervals I will go, yeah, I need to play Devil May Cry.
Well, you saying about the PS2 being leagues ahead. Devil May Cry was one of the launch games of the PS2, and that was fucking amazing.
But, I mean, because Capcom seemed to go through
games.
Capcom seemed to go through a period where they didn't seem to know what the fuck they were doing. We had like Resident Evil 6, and stuff like that coming out. Whereas these days, I had Resi 7. The Resi 2 remake is very well regarded, and I've been very tempted to pick it up.
Yeah, well, I played the demo.
Mega Man, the new Mega Man, is really, really quite good. So it's like, yeah, maybe Devil May Cry will be awesome.
It does look. It looks cool.
Everything about it looked amazing.
Yeah, it looks
any
really
of the gameplay stuff you see, all the cutscenes look awesome. I love a Devil May Cry game.
They don't really make them anymore.
8th of March.
The only type, because I say that and Bayonetta are basically the only types of game of that they make these days. They don't really make spectacle fights anymore.
And the stuff I read, so there's like new characters, which is always a bit like, you're going to put a new character into Devil May Cry. You know, you're not playing as Dante all the time. You know, even now you're not playing as Neo. All the
there's
time.
like a team.
Dante, he'd be a great addition to Smash.
Yes, he would. So there's a guy called V is the new character, and apparently V is
make it happen, Nintendo.
Physically weaker, but his abilities are really like super strong. So he's got like a bird that can attack people with lightning, but then he's got like a big cat or something that can morph into weapons.
Sweet.
And his special ability is like some kind of big thing that he can jump on and ride and attack stuff. And I'm reading this like, yeah.
It sounds super retarded, which is all I really want out of Devil May Cry.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
If you watch the trailer,
did you say Dante gets a weapon that's a motorbike?
Yeah.
That gets demonically possessed that he basically breaks it in half.
Yeah, he snaps it in half.
Uses it like two wielded like circular saw
It's in the
things,
trailer.
sticks it back together and rides it as a motorbike. I'm like,
Yeah.
The thing is that to me suggests that Capcom it's just like, is it retarded enough? It's like, keep on going.
just
Make
it's a 10. Just take it all the way to 11.
It's because obviously we've had Bayonetta, which is just as retarded. So obviously Capcom were like, well, we can't be out retarded, can we? We've got to.
It's the opening scene of Back to the Future. Is just turn everything up, turn it up, plug it in, and let her rip.
Good.
Yeah.
You know what? We don't have any video games that are just big and stupid and fun.
But like you said, it looks like fun.
And exactly, and that is the key to games these days, because we just don't have it anymore. It looks super fun.
Has anyone picked up the Resi 2 remake out of interest?
No, well, I played the demo and I really enjoyed it.
I played the demo and really enjoyed it.
I did in the last podcast. I said the thing that puts me off is I've completed Resident Evil 2 the first time it came out.
It's like a million years old though.
But it's still, when I played it, it was very nostalgic. But it's essentially still the same game. It like the puzzles they look the same. It felt the same. It is really well done.
Completely differently though.
It does, yes. You can, like, you've got FPS when you want to shoot things. You can walk and shoot. You can, there are some extra things.
It's a remake though. It's not like a remaster. It's a full-on remake of the game from the ground up.
The problem they had me ever so slightly on the hook. Unfortunately, they completely lost me when they tried to take £46 of my money, and I went no.
Just wait for it to drop in price.
Yeah, that's what I said. What in my last review, I said that if you've never played Resident Evil 2 ever, get it now because it's awesome. If you've played it before when it was out originally, wait till it drops in price, then get it, because it is definitely worth a play, and I do want to get it.
It just feels like a Tomb Raider anniversary or a Metroid Zero mission where it's not the original game. They've taken it completely and utterly rebuilt it. So.
Yeah, but I said at the time, I was like, it will depend how much they want for it as to whether I will get it or not. And the answer was, we want £46. And
that's how much a new game costs these days, unfortunately.
Yeah, but because I've played a version of it, I'm happy to wait. So, which is what I'll do.
And there's other stuff.
I never pay full price for games anyway, so.
So at this point in time, I'm like, the 15th can't come soon enough. What I will say, I do have to admit that I'm probably going to leave Metro.
Yeah, I'm going to pick
I reckon that'll drop in price relatively quickly.
So what I'm thinking is,
it looks cool.
I'm going to save my money, and I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it into getting gold, so that I can then get Game Pass
and play Crackdown
for cheaper.
Yeah.
I'm then going to wait, because I work on the principle that Crackdown's probably going to take me a little bit of playing. Whether if it's good, then I'll play that for a little bit.
Yeah.
But literally 7 days later, the one game I've been waiting for ages comes out, which is Anthem. So I'm going to get Anthem. I'm going to get it, straight off.
And you got Dirt Rally as well.
And I'll be playing that. So I work on the principle that, from a business sense, it makes more sense to me to wait for Metro, wait for it to come down, and buy it at a cheaper price. So that's basically what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Unless something.
The first two Metro games were excellent, though.
I was playing Metro.
This one looks great. It looks cool. It looks really good. It seems to be above ground a lot more. So, but it looks really good.
I will pick it up at some point in the future, probably when it is cheap. Probably when it returns to Steam in a year's time.
Potentially. So that is the end of my list. I don't know if you've got anything else on your list or anything else.
No, only like I said, I wanted to mention the Assassin's Creed thing, because if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, it was, like I say, it was really underrated.
Plus, it's free,
and it's free, and it's just being an Assassin's Creed, being an assassin, and then becoming a Templar is just fucking awesome. So you should just play it, because it came out alongside Assassin's Creed 3, I believe.
Aren't they remastering that?
It's just been remastered, yeah.
They put a brown filter on it.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed 3 is basically, that got all the coverage, and Rogue was kind of left out. And Rogue was actually the better game.
You say Assassin's Creed 3 is everyone's favourite Assassin's Creed.
Rogue is actually the better game. It really is. Well, from a story point of view, it's the best chapter of the story.
Assassin's Creed 3 and... Which is the other one that got a really big kick in when it came out as well? Syndicate, was it?
No, Unity.
Unity. That was the one that got a massive
fucking awful.
That was it.
It's not.
It just doesn't work.
It's not a bug. it's a glitch, but the glitch is part of the game. It's supposed to be that. No, your game's fucking broken, mate.
Yeah.
Fix it. No. It's supposed to be like that. Fuck off.
I think Unity was kind of a real wake-up call for...
Well, yeah, I don't know, but then, see, oddly, because I'd not had a console for a few years, I played Assassin's Creed 1, 2 and 3, didn't have a console for a while, and when I came back, I got Syndicate. I played Syndicate, really enjoyed it.
Syndicate was really good.
But then when I went back to Unity, it was essentially the same game, but in Paris. But
Syndicate came out after Unity, though, didn't it?
It did, yeah. So I was like, did they learn from it? Because they essentially made the same game.
They'll be making the games in parallel.
Well,
Yeah, that's how they
interesting.
make them. They make them at the same time.
What I found interesting about Unity was that by the time I got it, all the bugs had been fixed, so the game was fine. There was a really cool co-op version. Like, there were some missions you could do co-op in Unity. They were really good. And in Syndicate, that was gone. Because there's co-op in Black Flag, which is it's just rubbish. It's not. I don't like it at all. I think it's boring. But the co-op in Unity was cool. You could basically do some of the assassination missions, but with a couple of up to 4 other assassins, and that was really good because you were a team that went in and did what you needed to do, and that's basically what the trailer showed was this team of assassins.
Yeah.
But then when it went to Syndicate, all that stuff had gone. There was no co-op at all. There was nothing online, and I thought it was really weird. And then Assassin's Creed Origins, that's never continued either. And I felt that, the bugs aside, the co-op in Unity actually worked really well. It was fun. It was good to play with the team.
I think it just... You know when I say like a game comes out and that first impression makes a massive difference? 'Cause like Sea of Thieves, I'm sure Sea of Thieves is a great game now. But when it came out, it wasn't.
Yeah, I found it was a bit...
But it might be a great game now. But we've got one chance to make that first impression.
And that's exactly the point.
Yeah, a lot of people
exactly the
still,
point. We played Sea of Thieves at release, and I'm like, what exactly
you, me and Tim
is
had a go,
this?
didn't we? Nothing happened.
What is this supposed to be? What is it trying to be? I mean, what is it? It was the single most empty experience I've
It was
ever
really
had
weird.
playing
It
a
was.
game.
I have to say, I've never experienced anything like Sea of
Right.
Thieves.
What were we supposed to be doing?
Go to an island, pick up some chickens, come back. Go to another island, pick up some
It was
skulls.
just
But that's
like,
the thing.
weird.
It was essentially a
Ignore the
shell of a
rain.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird, and it was a shame because it looked like it could have been a lot of fun, and when they marketed it, it was a completely different game. What they showed us and what we got were very different.
Yeah.
Although-
Do you have
now
early
I feel
access
that.
on consoles now? Do you have to deal with that shit as well?
Sometimes you do on certain pre-orders. you
It's
can do
starting to come in.
'Cause
like
early
I
access-
say, like Anthem and stuff.
Yeah.
Early access, I mean,
Xbox
games that
4.
basically aren't finished.
Well, no, see, Battlefront was giving you early access, but it was like a couple of days. before
By
the game.
early access, I mean games where the game is still in development, where you play it essentially.
No, you get the betas like that, but there's no early
Yeah,
access.
you get alphas and betas
Yeah.
and stuff.
Because early access it was a real big sort of PC thing, but I imagine it's more of an indie thing. You kind of play it as you go along, and you basically help with bug fixing and the like. I very rarely do it because I'm like, I want to play a complete game. But I have seen early access done well, where you essentially get the core of a game complete, the idea of the core loop, and then you build around it to make the levels. Sea of Thieves always felt like a game where they got a bunch of stuff and thrown it all in,
Yeah.
but they hadn't got a core idea and a core
Yeah,
loop
yeah.
to the game
Yeah,
working.
even
It
they
was,
didn't
it
know what was going
strange.
on. I didn't have anything else on my list. Did
No, I think I've covered everything. I'm just checking now. I think I've covered everything.
I'm done. I did pre-order a game, and Amazon have taken my pre-order and
Put it into the void.
no, I pre-ordered it in like January. It was supposed to come out today, and they're like, oh yeah, it'll be available on the 5th of April. It's like, that's classic Amazon pre-orders.
okay.
Etrian Odyssey Nexus, Deep Silver. What they do is the only reason I would ever pre-order a game is because they'll make 7 copies of it. This is what they do with tiny Japanese games. So I pre-ordered it. It's like, right, otherwise I'll never get a physical copy and I'll be paying 70 quid on eBay or whatever. So I pre-ordered it. Even then, they were still like, oh, you can get it in 2 months when they do a second print run. It's like, I can't even pre-order it to get hold of this fucking game.
Wow.
So thanks, Amazon, you bunch of bitches.
Whoa! Shots fired.
And on that note,
And on that note,
Right, thank you very much, people.
laters, y'all.
Bye bye. No.
No.
There we go.
But yeah, because I'm just like, I always say we're deep, so it's like, let me buy your game. I'm trying to buy it. And you won't let me have
Let
it.
me
You
love
shall
you.
not play this game.
Let me love
I appreciate
you.
it's a niche little Japanese game, but it's like I pre-ordered it specifically so that I would actually get a copy of this fucker.
So there you go. What do you think to that then? Another episode of James Plays in the bag. A lot of games to look forward to. So there's going to be a lot more review stuff coming up. There's loads of games coming out. Certainly shaping up to be a better year than last year. So check out our reviews of upcoming games going forward. Everybody who's watching us on YouTube, turn yourself into a YouTube subscriber. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you're playing. Everybody can jump over to the cookiecast.com, send us some social media love, send us some email love, tell us what you're playing, what's your review of your game of the week. Until next time, I'm going to say goodbye, and I'll see you then. Bye.